All right, let's talk comics. All right. Hello. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining us on Hanging Out with Bootlegger Comics. Got a special guest tonight. Debut guest is always you never forget your first. So tonight our guest is he's a man of many parts. He wears many hats, and some would call a Renaissance man. He's an actor, musician, martial artist, writer, and all around bon vivant. So without further ado, welcome Patrick Quinlan. Woo! Hey, what's up, buddy?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good, man. Good. It's been a long day, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk comics. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, brother. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of demands on your time, and I really appreciate it. So
thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now I want to just jump right into the thing here. So I want to talk about River of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
I first saw the campaign before I even knew who you were. This was right when I was getting, the ideas for the Nostradamus effect and whatnot, as far as the crowdfunding stuff goes. And I was looking at things and I saw this and I was like, holy crap, man, the art just stopped me dead in my tracks. And I'm looking at it and I was like, okay, what is this? And I look at the top and I see PT2 River of Blood. And I was like, this looks so freaking awesome. This must be part 2. I got to find part 1. And then I realized, later, and I'm embarrassed to say I realized it much later that it's Phenomenal Tales.
Well, I'm embarrassed now because I'm realizing that I probably confused a lot of people by calling it PT2 by shortening it. Oh man,
yeah, I'm a boomer, so I chalk it up to a boomer moment. So the thing that's been on my mind now since I realized that is, what exactly is Phenomenal Tales?
So I have 2 comic series. Phenomenon 1999 is the mainline series. And then essentially what happened is I'd been working on Phenomenon for, since 2019, I want to say. And it's all kind of set and it's going its course as it moves along. But I had, you get ideas for stories that aren't part of what you've already done. You're like, well, I still want to tell that kind of, this story, or I want to, delve into this topic or the other. And so really what happened is one day I was just, I just decided to do a second series that would be like, it would be individual stories that are completed within the issue, as opposed to the long form story arc that I have for Phenomenon. I wanted to test myself to make stories that can just be read with one comic book and one and done. And so it allows me not only to, in various different ways, test, myself and my writing and try new things, but it also allowed me to tell stories that would not or otherwise have been told about my, I hate to use the word universe, story about my story of Phenomenon 1999. So that's where it all came from, is just like a desire to be more free to tell whatever story I want, kind of whenever I want, and not be so only doing phenomenal.
So Phenomenal Tales then would be just like your almost kind of like your prestige standalone story. Then. Okay, that's cool. Can you tell me a little bit about Phenomena?
Yeah. So Phenomenon is a story set in the post-apocalyptic. So it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller. Essentially, it's set in the Soviet Union in the year 1999, which obviously, if you know history, which I'm sure you do, some of these kids these days, though, they don't. Like, I asked a kid when did the Civil War happen? He's like 1945, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. But anyway, obviously the Soviet Union fell, in the early 90s, late 80s, and so that's obviously an important thing about this book. It's like, well, the Soviet Union still exists, huh? And essentially, the story of Phenomenon it occurs in Moscow, and it's a story about a counter-revolutionary rebel group they're called terrorists, obviously, by the Soviets, them trying to overthrow the government. And that's a very succinct, synopsis of it, but it delves into a lot of different topics and a lot of different philosophical ideas and stuff. So it's going to be, by the time it's all said and done, it's going to be a very hefty, set of books.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was
okay. No, so I was just going to ask. Like, it sounds like something right up my alley.
Yeah.
Is it? It's a long form story, though, right? So, but do you have a planned end, or?
Oh yeah. There's part 1, 2, and 3, and all of those issues have already been written. I wrote those. I think I finished writing in I think it was 23, because that's when I released Phenomenon 1. Something like that. 24 or 23. But yeah, the whole story is already, and in fact, the story that comes after that is also it's not fully written, but it's all fleshed out in my mind. Phenomenon ended up I wanted to tell one story, and I was like, well, I can't tell this story without explaining how things got to the way that they are. So I was like, well, let me back up. And that afforded me the opportunity to not only set something in Russia, which is I'm a student of Russian history and literature and art and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So I really love Russia. That. Yeah. So I took the opportunity to essentially move it back and tell the prequel. So I guess this is the prequel, but it's still near and dear to my heart. It's my baby,
Very cool. How many different comic projects have you worked on?
I have fulfilled Phenomenon 1 and 2 and Minotaur. So 3 fulfilled, but then I've obviously got River of Blood and Phenomenon 3 currently in the works right now.
All right, man. That's awesome. I know you've been in the Comicsgate space for a while. Mm-hmm. Did you how did you get pulled into creating comics? What really drew you to that?
Well, I've always loved comics since I was a kid. When I was 12 years old, I was thoroughly obsessed with Star Wars. And that's actually how I learned the word obsessed, because my parents were like, you're obsessed. Like, you need to stop. They'd cut me off of Star Wars. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do? My mom was like, go down we're at the public library. She's like, go down that aisle and find a comic book or something. So I walked down and I saw the Essential Fantastic Four #1, pulled that. I pulled the Essential Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man #1, pulled that. And from then on out, that was history. I fell in love with comic books, mostly Marvel, although I've read a good deal of Batman comic books. And, I moved on from that. I did music when I was 18, 17. I started a band called the Skagbirds, which went on for about 10 years, and then it kind of collapsed upon itself, but it was for the best, honestly. I did that. I was heavily involved in Shakespearean acting, I did a lot of musicals in high school. That's not going to help my reputation. And
Oh,
oh, musicals! Oh my god! So, but I did all that, and the band ended in 2019, right before COVID really hit. And even back then, I was like, "How do you become a comic book writer?" I was like, "How do you do that?" And I was thinking, how do you get hired by Marvel? That kind of thing.
right.
And COVID happened, so I was stuck in my apartment with nobody to talk to. All my friends abandoned me because I wouldn't bend the knee and take the vaccine and wear the mask and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was just like, this is
Pure
stupid.
blood, baby.
Yep, exactly. And so the vast majority of my friends abandoned me. There's one or two who are like, they're like my brothers now because we stuck through it together. But I'm stuck here. Like, what am I gonna do? I found out about Comic Artist Pro Secrets actually because I was just looking up videos on how to draw, because I was thinking I was going to draw Phenomenon, and so I heard about Comicsgate through that. Then I heard about Eric July, and I was a big supporter of that originally. And we don't need to get into that, but I'm not a supporter of that anymore. But I was originally. And then I kind of found my way back to Comicsgate, and I just was so welcomed by the community. Everybody was pleasant to be around, at least to me. And so I was like, okay, well, this is a possibility. I can actually, on my own, make a comic book independently and share it with people. And then there was the story of Phenomenon that is legitimately, I was at work one day in the garage at a dealership, and I looked out the garage door, the big old garage door, and it was like August of 2019 or 2020, and the leaves blew across the door, and I instantly felt this like a knot in my stomach of like, oh shit, I have to do something. Like I have to get going on something. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was something very important and that it would essentially make me happy, because I wasn't very happy. I had a lot of stupid issues, which, like, again, we don't need to get into, but there was that deep rooted like unhappiness with my life and myself and all that. And I had that feeling of like, I need to get going. Things are about to pop off. So that's when I started writing Phenomenon, and it was kind of loosely based on a story, like a prose story that I had been working on in 2015, but never went anywhere just because I don't know, I didn't have the get up and go to do it back then. Which is what I was telling you about, how it's a prequel. Essentially, I was looking at that old prose story. I was like, I want to tell this story, but it, first of all, doesn't make a lot of sense without any backstory. And secondly, like, I really want to delve into the whole Russian aspect of things. So that's when I started writing Phenomenon.
So sounds like you've been writing for a while.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't just start with the comics. So
no, yeah, I guess I should have mentioned that. In high school, I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot of short stories, a lot of prose, won a couple of awards, and was featured in a couple magazines, school magazines, not like real magazines.
Yeah, still.
But yeah, it was cool, and I always loved reading and writing. I'm a big fan of Dostoevsky, Shakespeare. Like these days, it's like mostly Russian literature because that's what I really went into after high school. But yeah, I've been writing for a long, long time. It's mostly been prose, though.
Okay. So how do you think you caught the entertainment bug? Because there's definitely a common thread through these different things you've done, with the musician and acting and all that. It all boils down to entertaining. So how did that start?
Girls. So,
yes.
Like legitimately in high school, sophomore year of high school, I'm like, I want to talk to girls, but I don't know where to do that because I went to an all boys Catholic high school. So, you don't get to talk to girls very often. And at my high school, I wanted to get involved in the theater because I knew that there were girls there, but My high school's theater program was a little more advanced than I was capable of at the time. So I went to a girls and all girls Catholic high school, which coincidentally my sisters and mother also went to. And that's how I knew about the high school, and was comfortable being there. And I tried out for some musicals and started doing musicals over there. And I was like one of 4 guys surrounded by girls.
Nice.
And so people go, oh, musicals are gay, brother. It was a good time for me. So,
yeah.
So I did that, and that's how I kind of got into acting and performing on stage. And then what happened from there was that I kept I wanted to lead roles. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'm a pretty good singer, and I was much better than the other people there at the time. But there's this weird, which now in retrospect with the way Hollywood is, it makes a lot more sense that it was similar. There's this weird, like nepotistic kind of, unless you did this thing with the Muni, which is a big thing in St. Louis, you're not going to get any roles or anything like that.
Right.
It pissed me off because I was like, well, I'm better than these people and I put more work in, and so that pissed me off. So I was like, well, fine, I'm going to do my own thing. And that's when I got to college, when I started the band with a couple of my high school friends. And so the band was a way for me to be up on stage and be, the front man and the star or whatever, and let me, scratch that itch. And so that's where all that kind of entertainment stuff started.
Yeah, there's nothing like it, man. I mean, there's nothing like being on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine acting is very much the same. I started playing guitar, very similar reason. I was. Is
there a better reason?
I was the shy, bashful guy, and sorry about this. I'm getting a phone call. I was the shy, bashful guy, but I thought, if I could play guitar, maybe it'll help me break that ice. And I remember I'd bring my guitar to school and stuff, and nobody cared.
Were you not good? Why did nobody care?
I mean, I was good, but they just, the chicks, I looked like a Saint Bernard, so that didn't happen. And of course, I was the fat kid, so I just never thought I'd ever score. So anyway.
I was also fat. No, that was a big part of it for me too. Is I was fat, and I was like, I had no self-confidence, and I was like, I gotta get that. Oh, this is my little baby girl. Hi, baby. Can you say hi? Say tweep. Say
this
something.
chair be high, says I.
You're right. Hi. All right.
So I remember just every now and then you would drop something new, whether it was my time on a commando show or watching or whatever. You would drop a little thing about being an actor and being a musician, and I thought, oh, okay, that's really cool. But there's nothing like playing on stage, man.
Oh, nothing.
And getting the crowd, reacting, and I don't play as much as I used to, and obviously I don't play in any bands anymore. But man, I can tear up a karaoke room.
There you go.
So, but I was always a natural ham though. Like, it's funny because I was shy when it came to talking to girls, but I could go in front of a whole like gymnasium of people and, start cracking jokes and, making people laugh. I never, had any issues with that. Those,
nice.
But okay, so let's bring it back to the modern day a little bit, and let's go into River of Blood. Couple things. Again, remember I had said that I'd seen this campaign before I had even knew who you were, saw you on streams or anything like that, and like I said, it just stopped me dead on my tracks. I mean, the Peter Gilmore art, like that alone, right? Like, holy crap. The art is fantastic, but I'm a cryptid fan. I love cryptids. And I mean, even though Wendigo technically isn't really a cryptid, it's still thought of in that category. I love anything Wendigo. And I know or any Wendigo type. You know, I know this isn't specifically Wendigo, but
oh, it is. I just used the correct. I'm kind of a snob about the term.
Okay.
Apparently, the Algonquins say Wetiko, so I wanted to use their form of the actual. You know, the white man says Wendigo. But
Okay, fair enough.
It is the Wendigo. It's the same thing. In fact, the way that we did it was making it as close to the testimonies of people about what it is and how it operates and what it looks like as was humanly possible. So,
well, it looks absolutely amazing, and it totally has my interest. Where did the story come from? How did it just pop into your head one day? Did you like what inspired that story from you?
So remember I told you I did a lot of writing and short stories and stuff in high school. Well, one of those stories that I wrote was called Wetiko, with a V instead of a W. And the reason that is because, well, for the life of me, I don't know why I was so interested in the Wetiko. I remember the Wendigo from Marvel Comics, but that never really got my interest. You know, it was
right,
like, okay, whatever. That's a Hulk villain. Read boring villain. I'm sorry. Hulk's villains are not that interesting to me, except for Abomination. But so I don't know why I was so interested in it, but I did a lot of research back then into the Algonquins stories of it, and was totally fascinated by how different it was in their description to, you know, the Wendigo from Marvel Comics, and some, you know, I typed in Wendigo on the internet to see what people thought it looked like, and I also have always been interested in cryptozoology, like the Loch Ness Monster. That was my first great love. I read hundreds of books, everything I get my hands on about the Loch Ness Monster, and had fierce, passionate arguments with my brother about how he's wrong and it's a real thing. But so I was thinking about the Wetiko, and I'm like, okay, so the Wetiko's whole shtick is a man engages in cannibalism, and then he is infected by this, for lack of a better term, demon that then makes him grow in proportion to what he eats. So he's always hungry and he's always emaciated. And I found that idea fascinating, and I was like, huh. And this is at the same time too that I was getting, you know, moving along in my Russian studies. I was hands down the best Russian speaker in my high school. And in fact, Russians nowadays tell me that I have an accent like a Latvian person, which is like if you said you sound like a Canadian, you know what I mean, to a foreign person, which is a great compliment. But anyway, I was into my Russian studies, and I'm learning about the siege of Leningrad during World War II. And it was a fascinating thing where, you know, the Russians could not get any food most of the time because there's, you know, large portions of St. Petersburg are surrounded by water. And, you know, during the winter, it freezes over, and that's when you can bring food over. But otherwise, they're totally screwed. Can I curse on this show? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Can.
Okay. I stopped myself just then. I was like, I need to make sure I can curse. Because it's just the way, you know, I work at a car dealership. So naturally, I curse a lot. But so, you know, this in the siege of Leningrad, people were, you know, working in the factories, obviously for the war effort. And, you know, they were given, like, there was so little food that they would mix in sawdust with these blocks of grains and stuff. And that's what you'd eat. You'd eat fucking sawdust, these bricks. And I thought it was fascinating. Like this, you know, all these people are starving. Stalin made a dictate that anybody who's seen with, you know, cannibalism, being a cannibal, is to be shot on sight. And I was like, whoa, wow. Okay. So there's a lot of starvation here. And the Wetiko is all based on starvation. And the Wetiko is generally speaking, it's a winter type creature. There are a good bit of, you know, stories from the Native Americans about other times where it's around, but for the most part, starvation pops up during the winter.
Sure.
So I was like, well, we got this horrible winter where the Germans are shelling Leningrad. and people are starving. And then we've got this creature that's all based, in all that kind of stuff. So I just combined those two concepts into one and wrote the story of Vitico, which I'm desperately trying to find somewhere. I thought I had it on my old computer, and I did, but then I remembered the other day that I threw my old computer away 2 years ago. Yeah, it pooped out on me, but I was like, oh, I'll get I'll pull the hard drive and have the guys over at this shop, pull that off for me. Oh, it's not the way I meant to phrase that, but
whoops.
But
I had a whole thing about twinks and
you're right. Now I'm saying pull it off.
And love, I eliminated that. So, you bring it on yourself. Man.
I know. Oh my God. So anyway,
plus you're just so damn dreamy.
That's gay.
Whoops.
Scribe is probably dying right now.
Clipped.
What's up, Scribe? So yeah, I wrote that story, and it was one of my favorite stories I've ever written, and it stuck with me my whole life. And my interest in the Wetiko has, for whatever reason, stuck with me I think I know now why it stuck with me. But I can't tell you.
Because you're hungry?
No. It's once you read River of Blood. Once you read River of Blood, how would I phrase this without giving anything away? I think that a lot of testimony of people in the past is true testimony and actually occurred. But because by modern standards, we can't measure it with empirical materialism, we just call it gay and fake. And I totally disagree with that concept. I think that there's a great deal of fantastical things that have occurred in the real history of the world. And one of my goals is to try to get people to kind of understand that you what is real isn't necessarily what you can measure right now.
Right. We don't have the ability to repeat the supernatural.
Right. And so, I'm just like, okay, well, so I want that to be a part of what I do with both primarily Phenomenon, and also, which we'll see in issue 3, and also River of Blood. So I'm sorry, I got lost. What was the original question?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, here we are now. I love the Wetiko. I started working with Peter Gilmore on colors. So he did a few commission pieces for me. For Phenomenon, did some covers. This is perfect.
Question.
This is here. Yeah. So he did a few covers and commission pieces for me, and I realized instantly that the way he does the colors on my books is exactly what I'm looking for. Precisely what I'm looking for. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go for anybody else then. So he started, coloring. He did colors for Minotaur first, and then Phenomenon 2, and obviously he's going to be doing my colors for forever, all time, until he dies, because he is old. You know what I mean?
Hey, wait a minute now. Why am I laughing?
Yeah. But he was doing that, and actually 2 years ago, I think it was, I had the idea of River of Blood, and it was pretty much it's the same idea that that we ended up going with. And I messaged him about it. And I'm like, would you be interested in doing this? And he was really busy working on one of Mandy Summers' books and doing a bunch of other stuff. So he's like, nah, I don't want to do it. And also, I'd probably imagine that he didn't trust me enough at the time, because, you probably noticed there's a lot of backstabbing and stuff that goes on in independent comics. It's so weird. It's like we're making comic books and people are being scummy. But
there's a lot of emotion in the space. Anytime you have creative people together, there's always emotion, and that always muddies the water.
Yeah, which is I guess I am an artist in many different ways, but I never took on that artist mentality. I was always much more of like I did Marine Corps ROTC until I had to leave because I had a heart condition that I had to get open heart surgery for.
Holy
so that's
shit.
the kind of I'm more like and I work at a car dealership, so I'm just more like a blue collar type feller, I suppose. And so I don't get down with all the internet
OPP
stuff. Yeah, it's stupid. It's a waste of my time, and I also think it's a waste of everybody else's time. But anyway, so I don't think Peter trusted me a lot at first, but then we worked together for 2 books, and I always paid him, and I paid him well, so I think we built trust there, and he then one day was just like, "Hey, remember that idea you mentioned to me 2 years ago that I didn't want to go forward on?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You still want to do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." Because it is a horror book, and he is the king of horror. I mean, he draws horror so spectacularly, and I'm just like, well, let's go. So literally, I was about to launch into Phenomenon 3 full on, but he mentioned that to me, and I was like, let's go. So I what's the word? Prioritized River of Blood, and kind of not put 3 on the back burner. It's been worked on this whole time, but we did River of Blood first, and then we'll move on to 3. So that's how I started working with Peter, and I've never looked back and never regretted it once, honestly. And from then on out, he's kind of been like a good friend of mine. So
yeah, let's look at some of that art here. Here's the campaign page. Is it showing up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Congratulations on reaching goal. That's fantastic.
Thank you. 100 backers exactly. Look at that.
Look at that. That's awesome, man. Very happy for you guys. Well, let's watch the trailer.
Yeah. This is by Von Claus. Yeah. Vaughn is a great guy to work with.
That is just so cool, man. Let's look at some of this art here. Here we go.
That's just a panel, by the way.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a panel that's maybe a quarter of the page.
Wow. It looks like it could be a variant cover.
I know.
Man, that's fantastic. Here's more.
Yes.
Look at the detail in here, man. The details just like, have you thought of offering maybe a black and white version?
I don't think that's feasible with the way Peter works.
Okay.
Just because he does a lot of things at the same time.
Oh, I see.
So it's not, it doesn't go straight from pencils to inks to colors. I can't say for sure. I don't want to speak out of turn, but the way he operates is a little more like the way it seems to me is that he images the page in his mind and then kind of puts colors and lines at the same time together. Now I sound like an idiot talking about it like this, but I don't know. I'd have to ask Peter if he could do something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it was just something that crossed my mind because I got to imagine the line art has got to be insane.
I'm sure he's got different layers. I just don't know for sure.
Honestly, this one right here is what really stopped me. Like all the stuff before this just stopped me dead in my tracks. I absolutely love this this cover here. This is a cover, right?
Yeah, this is the wraparound.
Right.
For the deluxe edition.
That is just absolutely stunning. Don't get me wrong, like this is freaking awesome. But
no, yeah, I mean that's my favorite cover too.
I've always been a sucker for landscape
Me too.
Because I feel like it's really difficult, and to, you know, I don't know, man. I just know what I like, I guess is the only.
Well, to make just an environment look interesting and appealing to somebody, it's how do you set that up? How do you do that? And I think when you have that skill set to just make an environment itself look interesting and appealing, you're doing pretty well for yourself. And he really did. He combined, because this story is two stories in one, essentially. It's a story of Seneshween, the Algonquin young man, trying to get revenge on the Wetiko and kill it because it wiped out and ate his tribe. And then it's also the story of Standing Waters and the War of the River of Blood, which is where the title comes from. Which is so we start in 1526, but it moves back. There's like a flashback story that happens. Which is some of the images up further. Like if you go up, keep going. The one where the guys are getting eaten, this one. So this is like a kind of a promotional image of that second story.
Okay.
Which I've been hinting at with people. I haven't really gone full depth into explaining what that's going to be all about. I mean, there's been a few times I think I probably mentioned it, but we're really going to. So when this first chance campaign closes, we're going to relaunch the second chance campaign with, hopefully, if it's done by that time, the Ethan Van Sciver cover, and essentially that's going to be at the same time as I launch Phenomenon 3. And I'll explain. We're going to be right now. We're focusing on the Wetiko story in the way we talk about it, and then once we do the second chance campaign, we're going to focus a little bit more on the War of the River of Blood story.
So let's touch on that a bit. Like, how does it feel to be getting an Ethan Van Sciver cover?
Kind of unreal, man. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my brain around it. Obviously, technically speaking, I lost to Vasilis Lolos, that son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Love him. And Vasilis is doing work for me right now on this book. So obviously I'm joking. And he did a cover for Phenomenon as well. Phenomenon 2. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, I don't even know, man. The mysterious benefactor decided that he wanted us both to win. And so now we both get covers. And at this point, I'm really just hoping, because, Ethan's not the fastest guy in the world. I'm really just hoping. Well, he knows, but he's chugging away. You see him doing these live streams of his draw streams every day, pretty much every day, for a while now, which is awesome to see. I'm just hoping he does my cover first before Vasilis, so I can sell it on the second chance campaign.
Let me ask you this. I get a sense, again, we don't know each other very well, but I get a sense that you like to have an element of control.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, probably.
So did that present any problems with Peter?
You said that in such a nice way. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm being sincere here. I'm not trying to.
No, I know.
Whatever. But so, and again, I'm not like saying anything negative about Peter. Peter's made it clear, though, he likes having.
Yeah,
I think he said one time, just shut the fuck up and let me do my work or something along those lines. Okay, so with Peter, and then with this cover with Ethan, are you just like, hey, do whatever you want to do, or like, how does that work?
So I don't know how it's going to work with Ethan, but for I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know yet with Ethan. I don't know how that's gonna. I don't know what he wants me to give him, if anything. I don't know how it's gonna work. I've never worked with him before.
Okay.
But with Peter, it's like for the work he does for me for Phenomenon, it's very much like, yeah, no, please do exactly what I ask. And he does, and he doesn't give me any trouble. For this book, because he is the main artist on the book, he's been like, no, man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And I'm like, all right. And, hands off. And I've gotten, dozens of pages back, and it's like, well, I don't have anything to complain about. You know what I mean? Like he's knocking it out the ballpark. So,
Right, yeah.
Why, fix something that's not broken?
That's it exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really easy to work with because he does great work, and he doesn't, try to push me in any way.
Sure.
So,
and, one thing I've thought is, I give the artists that I've worked with, I give them a lot of creative freedom. I have my own reasonings for that. Like I feel like a professional artist is going to have a better idea of how best to have the art move, have a reader's eye move across the page,
mm-hmm.
things, what catches, the eye of the reader, things like that. Also, like sometimes I just don't have, like for a cover or for an illustration, I may not have an idea. I'll be just like, look, here's the source material. Do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let them go with that. But that's me. That's my,
mm-hmm.
I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but
no, I mean, hey, it depends on who you're working with. For Phenomenon, like I said, it's my baby. So part of it is like, so I draw the layouts for Phenomenon and send those to Claudio, and then he does it 1-to-1 pretty much. Except when he does it, he like adds highly detailed backgrounds and all kinds of shit that is like, oh, dude, nice. Like, thanks for doing that. But the layouts are pretty much 1-to-1. I could show you my hand drawn on a notebook layouts that ended up being exactly what I got from the page. And that is the way that works because, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm hiding stuff in Phenomenon. Like I'm putting all like little things in there that if you know, if you notice these things, then you notice them, and otherwise it'll just appear to as it does. But like, and also Claudio, it has also a 9-to-5. He's got his own real job that he's working on, so he doesn't really have the time. When I've asked him before to just kind of come up with something, it takes a while, and because like I said, he doesn't have all that time in the world to kind of noodle it around and figure it out.
Sure.
So we save each other, and Phenomenon must be released on a consistent schedule. That feeling I had that day when I realized I need to do something, it is a time-based feeling. So this story must be told as soon as possible, I guess is the best way to put it. And so that's why we're not cutting corners, but we are streamlining the way that we work to get this out as fast as possible with that. With River of Blood, however, Peter, his whole job is art all day, every day. So he has a lot more like ability to take things and noodle it around and kind of find something that's better than what I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Subjugates here has got makes a good point. It's hard to juggle giving creative freedom but maintaining your vision.
Yeah,
and that's true. But I think that also comes with the relationship you build with the artist.
Yeah,
I've been pretty lucky with the artists that I've worked with on the Nostradamus Effect, and also with the cover artists that I have for Sangre de Cristo. We'll just start, spitballing in a chat, and that's how we just kind of start riffing off each other, and that's how we've come up with various designs and stuff. So that relationship, I think, is important.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like I have a very, very, very specific image in my mind of everything that I work on. You know what I mean? Like, I know exactly what it's supposed to look like. I know exactly how it's supposed to be. And I'm just really actually blessed, lucky to have met Peter, because like I said, I don't need to correct him or ask him to change things, because he sees that vision almost the same way I do. And so it's, it's one of those, because it is like when you said I like to control things, that is 100% true. I wouldn't release something that I didn't feel happy with, like, does this satisfy my itch? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I spent, gosh, $12,000, what was it? $12,000 to $14,000 or whatever on a mini comic, illustrated by Rob Hunter. And I use the word illustrated very lightly there. And I don't know if you know any of all that stuff, but long story short, he was just tracing shit. But I never even released it. I gave it to the people who backed Phenomenon 1 because I promised them I would. So I did. But I'm even like upset about that is out in the wild and has my name associated with it. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm not satisfied with the work, if it doesn't do what I intended for it to do, then it shouldn't exist, in my opinion. So I am very controlling like that. But I don't want to create subpar art. I want to create the best art I possibly can. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally get that. I have had in the past, I've had some printing errors that happened with when I was doing Some Big Lumberjack, under Half-Ass Publishing. Now, we didn't sell those. What we did was we ended up, we had a friend who worked for a company that sponsored movie premieres and movie pre-screenings. And he let us come and promote the book. And I don't know if you've ever been to one of those before. You go, you get a ticket from like a radio station or something like that, and you go to a premiere, and it's usually hosted by like a radio station and this marketing team, and they giving away shirts and stuff at the beginning, talk about the movie a bit, and then you watch the movie. So he let us come up there, and we were handing out copies of this issue of Some Big Lumberjack that had the printing error in it. And it actually worked for us. We did a panel like a year or two later at a thing called AllCon here in the DFW area. And the agreement was we had to do a panel if we got a table. So we did this panel on self-publishing, and one of the people in the audience was like, "Hey, I got your book at a movie screening. Like, I've got them all now." And
nice.
Like, yeah. It's time to go to the pants store. Yeah. So you can use those, blunders, if you will, especially when you're a smaller creator like that.
Yeah.
Of course, Shane Davis and his, cinematic spread issue where he destroyed almost all of them except for 200 copies. I get that when you're at that level, but when you're at this level or my level, every little bit helps, right?
That is true. But making mistakes, at the end of the day, it's it's just a learning experience. My whole life has been making mistakes and then learning from them and not doing it again. Cause I'm really bad at when people are like, "Hey, you probably shouldn't do that." I'm really bad at listening to them. I'm like, I'm just going to do it anyway. So then you make the mistake and then you learn the hard way. But, some people have to learn that way. Speaking of cinematic spreads, though, can you scroll back up to the image of the Watiko ripping that guy in half? Yeah. It's funny. This is the one time Peter defied me where I was a little disappointed. I told him that I wanted this to be a double-page spread. I specifically wanted a double-page spread of this thing ripping that guy in half, just to do a little bit of cheeky dunking,
Sure.
But he knows better than me about how it should look, so he made it just one page. But I was trying to slip that in. That's what I'm talking about when I say I slip shit in there. I'm just like, aha, if you know, you know. That's what I was trying to do with this page, but he decided against it. And I was like, whatever,
No fun. Boo.
Yeah. I mean, a page rate is a page rate, brother. I paid half of what I would have paid for this image,
Right.
you know, if it was spread across 2 pages. So he kind of did me a solid, but in that regard as well.
Well, you know, I will say that speaks to his integrity as far
Yes,
as
it does.
you know, doing the right thing by the story and by the book. You know, that's pretty impressive. I'm sure
He's
there's
done that
plenty of
several
artists out
times
there
for
who
me.
would have been like, "No problem, boss."
Yeah, right. Pocket that money.
Yeah.
No, but he's done that several times for me, and that's one of the reasons I respect and trust him so much is because, you know, he knows what my life is like, and he knows that money doesn't grow on trees, and you know, he tries to like, okay, well, can we, you know, combine these 2 pages together because they don't have to be separate, you know, and with his artistic brain, he can imagine that page in a more streamlined way than I can. So, you know,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's exactly kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, you know, obviously he's incredibly talented, and you're letting, you know, his experience and his talent, you know, kind of direct a bit. So
yeah,
that's the smart play, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So let's continue looking here, and let's look at the. Okay, here we go. So this is Phenomenon, right? This is the
yes.
original.
So that's a collection. It's going to be so Phenomenon 1 is no longer sold. Like I'm telling you, like I said before, I am very controlling. I'm like, the way Phenomenon 1 ended up wasn't what I wanted it to be. And while I'm still proud of it in the sense that I released I made a comic book and I released the comic book, it wasn't quite up to the standards that I hold, at least for myself. And so I was like, well, I can't sell it anymore because if I don't, you know what I mean? If I don't even really like it that much, why would I sell it to people?
Right.
And Phenomenon 1 had a different artist, and then I hired Claudio, and he's been my guy since then. So this series, or this it's going to be called Phenomenon Alpha, not Collection. We're going to fix that. Don't worry, it'll all be fixed. But this is a collection of Minotaur, which is Phenomenal Tales 1, Phenomenon 2, and in the beginning, it's going to have a 4-page recap of Phenomenon 1, which has now been redrawn by Claudio. So, and then obviously tons of concept art. I have a ton of art about Phenomenon that I haven't even shown people, and it's going to have bios for all the characters and everything. So this is going to be like the book to get into.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you should grab that while you can, because that's going to, like, I think I'm just going to go ahead and like print that immediately after this campaign closes, since all that work's already done. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I'm just reprinting it. I think I'll reprint that, and depending on how soon I can get out the EVS cover to folks, I might wait on all of the River of Blood to send out with the EVS cover at that time. In which case, you know, but I'll send Phenomenon Alpha out first, so folks will at least have something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I think I'm going to be doing, I haven't decided quite yet, but I think I'm going to do Phenomenon Gamma, which will be the recap of 1, Minotaur 2, and 3. So that'll be a fat boy. That's going to be like, good God, because 3 is like 70, 80 pages. So it'll be like, 170 pages or something like that. We'll see. I haven't, you know, I might just sit on the first collection for a bit, and then once Phenomenon 4 comes out, which will be the end to part 1, then just do a full recap. But, you know, I haven't really decided these things quite yet.
Any timeline on these?
Oh, yeah. Phenomenon 3 and the Second Chance River of Blood will launch. Let me look at my calendar. Probably the 27th of June or the 4th of July. And then those will hopefully be in people's hands by October, like mid-October, late October to early November. So, and then we'll just keep rolling on all the books. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another Phenomenal Tales. Although I kind of just want to finish out part 1 of Phenomenon.
Right. What? Let's look at the rewards here. Let's look at the tiers.
Well, so just long story short, for these tiers, what I did was there's on Fund My Comic, there aren't add-ons quite yet.
Right.
So I just made every permutation of every cover that I'm offering here. That's really all that is.
Okay.
And collections are obviously priced a little bit cheaper, usually $5 to $10 cheaper.
Right. Okay.
Personally, that's the one right there that I would recommend to people.
This one, the 60.
Yeah, it's you're getting the deluxe edition of River of Blood, all the concept art, all the short stories I can get my hands on that I did in regards to it, and then you're going to get the Phenomenon Alpha. That's the way to go. If you're, unless you want to give me hundreds of dollars, I'm not going to argue with that. If you want to give me dollars, but if everybody's on a budget, so that's probably the best bet for people right there. And I think it's still $8 shipping, if I'm not mistaken.
That's bang for your buck for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And that's 100. We did it on the Iron Seas last night. That's 174 pages of work right there.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Approximately, obviously, but
just absolutely beautiful work, man. I cannot wait to get this.
Thanks for backing, by the way. I really do appreciate that.
Of course, man. It's, I back what I like, at the end of the day, like, I'm too broke to back just because I like somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I back what I like. So, and like I said, I mean, this grabbed me from the minute. We've got someone throwing some slander.
I can smell him from here. He smells like Indian food wrapped in a diaper.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wait, he just complimented it. Okay, no,
that's Indian food, isn't it?
What's up, Salty? Oh, Salty's a great guy. He had me. This is the kind of guy that Salty is. He didn't know me from Adam, and he's like, "Come on down to Tennessee, and you can set up at my table at the Chattanooga Comic Convention." He didn't charge me anything, He just made fun of me a couple times. He had me come down, and I did. I got to set up at his table, and we hung out for Saturday and Sunday of the Chattanooga Comic Convention. Great guy. I'm going back down this year as well. But this time I think I'll probably get my own table, and hopefully I can get set up right next to him. That'd be cool.
Well, they say Tennessean is ten of believing. They don't really say that. They don't really say that.
I can't believe you did. I can't believe you did that.
Don't say that. They won't like that.
I'm going to say it to everybody down there now, just to annoy them.
Okay, you're gonna find yourself reenacting, Descent. I don't know if you saw that movie. I think that took place in Tennessee.
That's the one that gets stuck in the cave, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. It's like the albino creatures are coming after them.
What white people you're saying?
And those are all over Tennessee. They're all over, not just underground. But no, I kid. I love Tennessee. Anyways,
it seems like you don't like Tennessee that much.
I've driven through it so many times. So I grew up in Maryland, just outside of DC, and I live in Texas. So I've driven back home quite a few times, and my God, that's a boring drive. You drive through the entirety of Tennessee. Man, it's boring until you get to the Smokies.
Dude, I love first of all, I love driving long distances. One time I drove to Roswell 14 hours straight. That was great. But I have to be honest, like I roll the windows down. Usually I'm smoking a cigarette. And so I smell the areas I'm going through. And like, for instance, I went up to Vermont for a wedding for one of my good friends, one of my brothers who, not actual brother, but my blood brother essentially. for his wedding that he then got divorced for 3 months later.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, you motherfucker, you made me drive to Vermont. But it was cool because my old man comes from Vermont. So I wanted to go back to the old land, the old country, as it were. Just
the ancestral home, if you
exactly, of the Quinlan tribe. And bro, driving through New York, the state, holy shit, it smelled like shit. There, like I entered New York instantly and was like, there's something off about this place. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I actually started speeding. I was like, I'm getting out of New York. This is gross. I don't know what it was, but I drove into Tennessee, crossing over into Tennessee, going over those Smokies. Oh, I literally think about that sometimes, just driving over the Smokies. The smell is so sweet. It's like, oh, this place is beautiful. So I don't
know about no smell.
Dude, it smells great down there.
But it is absolutely beautiful. But once you get out of the Smokies, man, you're cruising. There's just there's not much. He digs at me here and says Texas is an ugly drive. It can be, depending on where you are. One of the beautiful things about Texas is it has every topography known to man.
I've never been to Texas. I really want to go.
Well, I'm just saying it's the most heavily armed state, although not by statistics, but we don't report those things.
Well, there's a lot of boating accidents,
This was no boating accident.
Thank you. Once was cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But my buddies and I at work, we have been I had a fella who he was a technician, and he actually maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to give any information of his away. Anyway, long story short, we're all very much into guns. And the three of us are like, we got to go down to Texas and hunt some hogs. You know what I mean? We really want to do that. We want to be in the chopper, fucking blasting hogs. That'd be great.
That is a big deal here.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
So we're like, I have not been myself, but
it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be. They're proud of it though. They charge. It ain't cheap, but
isn't that crazy?
I'd like to do. It used to be these farms and stuff would just let you come on their land, because you were doing a favor to them. But then once they figured out, they could make a nice little profit off it.
Why not?
Right? No, hey, absolutely. Yeah. And people are buying it, so good for them.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with that. Look, you're allowing me to just blast some hogs. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Man, I would totally love to do that on a helicopter, man. That would be amazing. Although I think if I ever, my uncle's passed away now, but he would have had a total flashback. He was a Marine veteran during Vietnam. He was like the guy in the Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Go get some.
Right. He's blasting the hogs like, take that, you fucking Chinaman.
Yeah. How do you shoot women and children? You just don't lead them as much.
Oh my God.
That's kind of how he was. But yeah. I've seen a couple of your posts. I saw the post where you had the video of you firing the fully auto. What was that?
It's an AR.
It was an AR platform. Yeah, that was cool. I saw the one you did recently of was that a suppressed Dragunov?
Oh no, brother. I have a 223 AK.
But you posted a picture recently on X.
Uh-huh.
And it looked like it was a.
There was some, fine. Because I don't know how recently was it. Because I think you might have been commenting. But I'll see if I can find it. It was a picture, and it had a bipod, and it was on a here it is. Oh, that's a Vepr. That's a Vepr, if I'm not mistaken.
What the heck? What did I just do?
Oh, no. I know exactly what you're talking about now. No. The picture I just posted like two or 3 days ago.
Here we go. There it is.
Oh, this is great. Eat shit,
Look
salty.
Is that suppressed? Like, what is?
No, that so
What's
with
that
I mean,
barrel?
it is integrally suppressed. What that is the most beautiful firearm on the face of the planet. It's known as the VSS Vintorez, chambered in 9x39 subsonic ammunition. They're big old fat boys, big suckers, and it's integrally suppressed, and it has like this arc to it, and it's long story short, the sound of the action is louder than the actual like projectile. Um, it's just one of the most beautiful guns on the face of the planet, and I one day must have one, but they're not sold in America. You know, they're. I mean, we're just shitting all over the Russians. Like we really hate them for some reason.
Rightly so.
I love Russia. Russia's a great place. They're one of the
Yeah,
best countries in the
I
world
get
outside
that.
of America.
All
And if our media wasn't so hateful towards them because they're anti-globalist, then I think
Yeah,
a lot of people would appreciate them a little bit more. But they're, you know, I love Russian and Soviet firearms in general. They're just so, you know, they had to make do with what they had, and so they really like some of the ingenuity that comes from it is really awesome.
It's impressive what they were able to churn out during World War II.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my post, but I actually commented on that, and I inadvertently my gun safe has like a Nazi killer section to it. So I've got a 1922 M9130 Mosin Nagant. It's an extra goon.
Nice.
I'm assuming you're familiar with all that nomenclature.
The extra goon part, no, but the rest of it, yes.
And I have I think it's M44, is that right? Or 44M. It's the carbine Mosin Nagant. I've got a Yugoslavian SKS.
There you go.
And they're all still tack drivers. I mean, even that 1922, you know, 100-year-old rifle. And when I got it, it was just soaked in cosmoline. That was a nightmare. But anyways, we're getting off topic.
I don't care. I love guns, man.
Okay, cool. Then let's keep going. Then.
One of my favorite subjects.
Too. I love guns too. I've also got a little Makarov pistol.
Nice.
Yeah,
Those
that was
really nice too.
I mean, it's not like the real deal, you know. It's a
Serbian or something.
It's a 380. It's not the 9 millimeter, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a freaking paperweight. Like everything on it is steel.
Yeah, just the platforms themselves are really, really cool.
You know what's really cool is I've got the Nagant revolver.
You do, really?
1895 Nagant revolver.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I don't have one, but my buddy does, and he's let me take it for a spin a couple times.
It's so first off,
cool.
It's got like a 20-pound trigger pull on it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's like as difficult as it is to pull that trigger. It's that level is the same level to which I was trying to make a slam on Glocks, but I really didn't say it very well. Anyway, you know how like the Glocks all have these wonky clown triggers?
Yeah.
Like they suck. Glocks just totally suck. And I'm very passionate about this.
I see.
That trigger was like the exact opposite of the clown trigger. You know, it's ridiculous. You gotta like use both fingers almost.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's nuts, man. What I think is really cool about them is that they were suppressed. It was like it was a sidearm that was used in the early days of espionage because it could be the only commercially made revolver that could be suppressed because of how that cylinder slides forward and seals with the barrel. I thought that was fascinating. And what weird looking rounds too. The countersunk bullet. Yeah.
They were developed. It never reached the light of day, but they were developing and it will be in Phenomenon one day. I like to take all these like designs that, never really became real, but like work them into Phenomenon. Cause it's kind of sci-fi. They were developing cause with the PB, the suppressed Makarov.
Uh-huh.
Well, they weren't so satisfied with that. for many reasons, at least for undercover type people. So they were developing this revolver that now I could, I gotta, it's been a while since I watched the video, but like the rounds themselves were suppressed. I don't know how to phrase this. Like it was a revolver that the way that the round worked, it was very weird. It was very weird. It wasn't like
it would have to be.
It wasn't like the bullet in the casing with the powder. It was like the bullet was inside an entire like enclosed thing. And so when you fired it, it would not, I mean, obviously it's a revolver, so it's not going to eject the casing. Right. But the way it worked is that it would just from the technology of the actual round itself, it would come out suppressed without even needing a suppressor, which, obviously I think it was just far too expensive to make many of those rounds. I'm sure that there's probably some what do they call it now? GRU. There's probably some GRU operatives who maybe carry it or whatever, like just, like the top level guys. But it's not something that's really widespread, but it's fascinating that you could suppress the round. It was, I'll have to send you the video. I got to find it again.
Please do. That sounds very fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, sir, is there anything you want to touch on that I haven't brought up?
Well, there is this one chick at my gym. I'd like to touch on her. I don't think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Now you're getting creepy. No, I mean, I think we kind of covered all the bases. I'm glad we got to talk about guns. I love guns, and nobody ever wants to talk about guns.
Do you reload?
No, I know how to do it. My friend showed me. So I do know how to do it, generally speaking. But like, I don't. We reloaded a bunch of 45s because I'm a big fan of the 1911. I think the 1911. Like I like older platforms that have stood the test of time. That's why I'm such a big fan of the AK, and that's why I'm such a big fan of the 1911. The 1911 is just, and I have a Colt, and
there's a reason it's still around over 100 years later.
And operators still use it. Like a lot of guys still really like using that. And the round itself is subsonic, so you can put a suppressor on that sucker, and it's going to be quiet, which is very nice.
Yeah, I had a Smith & Wesson 1911.
Oh, nice. You got rid of it?
I did. I ended up selling it. We were struggling there for a while, and
gotcha.
And I sold a few guns, and hated to part with it. But
don't you feel like a piece of your soul's gone?
Huh?
You do that when you sell a gun, you're like, part of my soul is gone.
Yeah, you definitely feel something's missing afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of my daily carries. Also, I kept it in a shoulder holster.
There you go.
Yeah, so no worry about pulling my pants down.
I mean, it's the only way you can carry most of those like a full size 1911, because they're what, 5 to 7. Not that's a little heavy. They're like 3 to 5 pounds.
They're definitely heavy, especially fully loaded.
Yeah.
But
once you get used to it, though, I've noticed that. Like I have a Kimber chambered in 9, and that was my first one that I ever had. And then I've eventually got the Colt, and I'm just like now, like there was a time where the Colt was having issues, and I had to take it to my buddy. But like I then was carrying the 9, and it was like, you pick it up and you're just like, whoa, that's really light. Like, holy smokes. I'm just used to the 45 now,
Yeah. And it's funny, because I remember one time I went to the range, and I started with the 1911 and shot a few rounds through there. And then I switched over to the 380, the Makarov. Mm-hmm. And that was like shooting a BB gun.
Yeah.
After that 1911. Yeah. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You ever get into any gunsmithing at all? You ever mess around with that?
Yeah. I actually did a little bit of like my AK was fucked up. I couldn't get the gas block off. And then it got stuck, like the gas block lever got stuck. So I I had to do some finagling with that, but that's about the extent of it. Really, is just kind of, messing around with that. But nothing more intense than that. I really like, man, that would be really cool. Like just doing reloading and gunsmithing. And I feel like if an opportunity opens up where I can do that, where I can, really learn how, like I've got people who can teach me, and there's a lot of resources these days too.
Oh, yeah.
That would be something that would, I would love to do. Like if my job was working at a gun shop and, being a gunsmith, that would be the greatest job in the whole world. I feel like.
Definitely would be something I would like to do, like in retirement years,
Mhm.
where I'm not necessarily having to worry about feeding a family or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, are you familiar with PTR, the manufacturer PTR?
What does it stand for?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I don't think so.
It's PTR 91 is it's an HK G3 clone,
Huh.
and it's phenomenal. And I bought one from them several years ago, and I mean it's reasonably priced. It's 308, and but it comes the standard. Everything's modular on it, right? So
this is the one the Israelis use, isn't it? The G3.
Oh, they may have.
I thought they did. I might be mistaken. Sorry.
Obviously, the Germans did.
Mm-hmm.
But so everything's modular on this thing, and the trigger pack stock on it was like 12 pounds. So I went on to HK Parts. I bought a 4-pound trigger pull pack on it, swapped it out. I took the buffer out of the stock. I put in an enhanced heavy buffer. I put on I can't remember the brand of the compensator, and I put that on front. And man, that thing, it was a 308, but it fired like a 223.
Nice.
It was. Anyways, now I'm getting into real gun geek stuff.
No, you're okay. Unless you don't want to, I'm just saying.
I'm kind of running out of time because I'm old, and it's I got to go to work in the morning. So
gotcha. I have the day off tomorrow, so I'm chilling tonight.
Oh, nice. I took the day off today, actually, but
nice.
Yeah, I got to get back to it tomorrow. So, Patrick, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and spending time with me.
Thanks
again,
for having
like
me.
I said, I know you're a busy guy. You've got a lot on your plate, so I appreciate you coming on here and taking some time to. These are questions that have been on my mind for a bit, and thanks again, man. And dude, River of Blood looks fantastic. I can't wait to get it. I'm definitely going to go check out Phenomenon and look into that. And I just can't wait for more projects from you, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for having me as well.
All right, gang. Thanks for everybody coming in here, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Next time.
Peace out.